Всем привет, и сегодня мы снова продолжаем проходить Noire.
Your interest in my appearance is starting to get me worrying.
Like it or not, we're a dysfunctional couple now. People judge me with you on my
Где тут выход?
I really hope you're joking, Roy.
Сейчас поедем на место преступления. Давай глянем, чи недалеко хоть. Блин, это какая уже по счету серия будет? Офигеть, тут сюжет длинный. Ну, далековато, конечно.
Seem distracted. We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of LA forever, and we're wasting... Look!
Вот уже подъезжаем. Место убийства. Наконец-то. С вебкой снимаю теперь. Покопался в настройках. Ну и, естественно, настроил все там. Второй этаж, квартира 6 в конце коридора.
Thanks.
Второй этаж. Ага, вот эта квартира.
Bukowski, you made homicide.
That I did.
О!
Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills. Falls asleep in the tub. Rest in peace. Case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Возможное самоубийство. Миссис Рейнольдсон.
Phelps?
Вот
Mal,
она.
we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest. Take a closer look at her head and neck.
Very unusual ring.
Кольцо какое-то.
Could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire.
Шо у нее с ногтями? Они что, обломанные? По-моему. Ага. Руки какие-то непонятные. Да нет, блин. Тут уже все ясно. Да блин, ну посмотри, ты ж... А он опять своей рукой. Во.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly.
Синяки на шее. Бля. Все. А, вот это что такое? Какие-то пилюли, блин. Я не знаю, что там еще осматривать. Там везде эти таблетки валяются.
Looks like barbiturates.
Снотворное.
Quality English smoking jacket. one under 45 who would wear one.
А это что такое? О, какая-то коробка.
Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing?
Опять снотворное. Ух ты.
We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
Ну еще с врачом поговорите. Целое дело, блин. Я представляю теперь, насколько это расследование вытянет. Тут, блин, наверное, больше часа придется это расследовать.
Bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Следы укусов.
Eyes are a
Опять же
classic sign of
синяки.
morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
It spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
The morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
There's been a modeling assignment.
Вот еще тут картинку эту. То есть фотографию не смотрели. Какая-то записка на обратной стороне. Посетить.
It's a place to start.
Да сын какой-то.
Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
Тут ничего нету, как и в первой фотографии. Ладно.
I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact.
Так, душевное состояние.
Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
Сомневаюсь.
Would she have killed herself for a man?
Miss Julie would never have killed herself. She was a very determined young lady. One of those people who shake the tree for all it's worth.
Личная жизнь
Did
жертвы.
Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
А ну-ка. Домашний мужской жакет. Ну а чё? Чё не могу выбрать? Бля, а чё я не могу выбрать? Ну я... Бля, она ж скрывает. Ну, допустим, истина.
But you cleaned up after parties.
Yes, I did. Sometimes beforehand. She was always so glamorous. She had the most beautiful clothes and jewelry. She could be hard, Miss Julie.
Связь
What
жертвы.
was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
Сомнения.
Mrs. Reynoldson, it seems like there's something you want to tell me.
She was very high-strung. Lovely one moment and screaming at you the next. She wanted it all, and she wanted it damn quick. Of course, being so beautiful, it seemed like she was going to get it. Not the way it's turned out, though, is it?
Thanks, Mrs. Reynolds.
Блин,
Very helpful.
один только правильный
The
вопрос.
detectives will take your statement, and then you can go home.
Вот сука. Ну все, больше тут нечего
We'll take a
осматривать.
look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
You think Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm a Galloway. I've met enough girls in my time who can't handle the dope.
Так, а ну-ка. Поедем сейчас в эту клинику. Я надеюсь, недалеко ехать хоть.
Bukowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
Так. Пошли. Подожди, а куда мы вышли? Вот же лифт. Не знаю, всю ли я квартиру осмотрел или нет.
Doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Yes, sir, your name?
LAPD. We'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Your investigation is much...
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
Связь с жертвой.
How well did you know Ms. Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
Допустим, истина.
She was disturbed, though.
Well, not in the conventional sense. She had trouble sleeping.
Дополнительное лекарство.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
Сомнение.
Benzedrine is addictive, as I'm sure you know, doctor.
As I warned her, but she was determined. She said she needed it to control her appetite.
Sounds like you knew her pretty well.
I knew the line of work she was involved in.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
Один только правильный вопрос. Ну, хоть один. Да, что-то пока так себе дело раскрывается.
The old boy's lying.
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. It's a strange reaction to have to the death of the invitation.
Так, сейчас посетим этот магазин. Так, вот он. Он недалеко тут.
Have you noticed how Croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got something to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Магазин одежды Досен. А ну-ка.
Well, hello. What can I help you with today?
Ага.
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning.
История трудоустройства
How long
жертвы.
had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
Истина.
Could you tell us why you let Miss Randall go?
Husbands sometimes come in here with their wives. When Julia Randall modeled, the husbands were often more interested in her than they were their wives' dresses. The wives weren't happy, and neither was I.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes.
Так,
Heather
вопрос
Swanson.
правильный.
Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather, these gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to
I'm
me.
very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you.
Жемчужное кольцо. Связь с жертвой.
How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
Истина.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Знание мистери
Are
Хендерсон.
Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
Ну, на сомнение не похоже, поэтому опять, наверное, истина.
She was wearing a sapphire engagement ring. Someone must have given it to her.
She never mentioned a man named Henderson to me.
That's all for now. Miss
Правильно.
Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Так, телефон. Сейчас позвоним.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
Are there any messages for me?
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over.
Голливудская больница. Ой, сейчас едем. Подожди, а далеко ехать? А, не, рядом.
Nice move not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking a big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you yet.
Чего она интересного нам расскажет? А, ну. А, сюда? Куда идти? Угу.
Cole, Roy, I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 syrettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening now.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death now.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
А, ну покажи, что там нашел. Что это?
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mal, thanks for the lead.
Поговорить с Генри Арнеттом. Подожди. А где он тут? Ага, вот он.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
Связь с жертвой.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
Ну, истина.
And you were close?
We were friends.
Знание мистера
Miss Randall's
Хендерсона.
landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Сомнение.
Spill it, Henry. You know nothing about a man named Henderson?
Yes, you're right. Henderson, yeah. Very distinguished.
How about a first name, wise guy? An address, maybe?
I'm sorry, I don't. I think he lives somewhere out of town. Somewhere back east.
Леблан, подозреваемый в ограблении. Что-то не договаривает.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
Ложь.
I think you're lying. I think Randall was a high-priced hooker, and this Henderson character didn't want it to come out that he had been seeing her. I think he had LeBlanc and an accomplice bump her off. I think you know who Henderson is, and you're trying to conceal his identity.
I think you've been out in the sun too long without your hat. Prove that I know who Henderson is.
Так, домашний мужской жакет.
I came down here to talk to you, to do the right thing, to try and help catch Julia's killers. And all I get is abuse. I'm not a criminal detective.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
Блин, ни одного правильного вопроса.
Some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. Fighting 6th.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
Надо проследить за ним. За этим
He's in
типом.
that car at the lights.
Сейчас посмотрим, куда он нас
He was
приведет.
squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
Так, пусть едет подальше, а то чтоб не спалил. Лучше дистанцию держать.
Whoa, back off before we get made.
Да ничего он не заметит. Куда ж он направляется?
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Да блин, он так долго будет ехать. И едет, и едет. А куда непонятно.
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
Сейчас чуть поближе подъедем. Да ё-моё! Куда это он приехал? Аж побежал, блин.
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Лишь бы только не заметил. Особо близко не хочу подходить, а то сразу увидит. Потом и спрятаться не получится. Оглядывается тварь. Что-то подозревает. Блин, я уже думал, что он меня заметил. Да иди уже. Какого хрена ты оглядываешься? Или задолбал уже? А где он? Ага, вот он.
That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be. LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
Билет на поезд.
God, it's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face
Портсигар
when I told him to hand it
Fabergé.
over.
The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
А ну давай позвоним сейчас там. Телефон.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, batch 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
Messages for me, please.
Yes, Detective. Detectives Bukowski and Galloway request you return to Hollywood Station. They have information in the Julia Randall case.
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy LeBlanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thanks for your help.
Так куда мне, в отделение или сразу встречаться с этим уже? Ну сейчас разберемся. Так, нахрен мне эта квартира? В отделении сейчас. Поедем.
A one-way ticket to Mexico. Old Henry's looking as guilty as a dog next to a pile of dog shit.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus 2 dames always equals problems.
Ну, приехали в отделение.
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud. Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
Ну, короче, сейчас все переклацаю.
Seems Julia wasn't the first bored society girl to hide her bennies in that pillbox.
Ладно. Ну и чё?
Even the engagement ring was purloined. Arnett is a cad.
Осмотреть дом Ивстром. Ага. Новая фигура дела. Ну все. Больше нам здесь делать нечего. Сейчас осмотрим дом. Да нахрена мне ее квартира? Сюда едем. Ну приехали вот этот дом. Блин, я пока сюда доехал, это жесть. Еще б дальше сделали. Ни хрена себе дом какой.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man? If you are returning 43 pieces of my property.
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Так, перечень украденных
Describe
вещей.
to us what was stolen.
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
Ну что, блин, я не знаю, истина, наверное.
We recovered a black sapphire ring.
A beautiful piece. It belongs to my daughter.
Отчет о ограблении.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
A terrible night. At least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
Не, ну сомнения. Давай рассказывай.
I get the sense that you're worried about something, Mrs. Eavestrom.
I have already received the insurance claim, detective. Is there any way we could keep the return of these items discreet?
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eavestrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, mother and father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
Допросить Генри Арнета. Подожди, а где его квартира? Блин, так уже закрутили, офигеть. Это дело все. Охренеть, она на конце тут карты. Вообще, блин, охренели. Ты чё, сука? Вообще же охренела, дура. Вылетела как сумасшедшая.
That's my fiance you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
What a sogging it, sister. You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
Так, вот уже приехали. Вот квартира этого Арнета.
Come on, sister. Let's find out who your fiance really is.
Так, ну пошли.
Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, are you a resident?
Так, подожди.
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
Так, что-то было. Так, ну это ж не он, да? Это он ему вломил Арнету. А это кто? Уилсон или как его там? А не легче тебе ноги, тварь, прострелить? Тихо, 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 ну блин, а ну тут уже чуть-чуть осталось. О! Ни хрена себе.
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How'd I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry?
Осмотреть квартиру Арнета. Ага, билет.
You told Heather you're honeymooning without her?
Давай сразу поговорим уже с ними. Шайка
We know
домушников.
all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
Ложь.
You're lying, Henry.
How can you prove that I'm involved, detective?
Так. Портсигар. Фаберже.
Because you pawned a Fabergé cigarette case today for $600. A case that is on a list of stolen items.
It was Julia's idea. Get a list of society parties and find out where and when, and then have the guests burgled. Julia was desperate for money. No matter how much we made, she always wanted more.
Мотив для убийства
Why
Рэндалла.
did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. I was going to marry Heather and she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out, that she was going to create a new gang.
Ну, допустим. Подожди. Истина.
But why kill her?
She always looked down on those two. When she told them that she was cutting them out, they swore to get even with her.
Личность мистера
Who
Хендерсона.
is Henderson and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Ложь.
Tell me about your first burglary and don't lie.
I can't remember. I don't keep a list of these things.
Так. Подожди. Возможно, Джулия Рэндалл была убита насильственной передозировкой.
No such person, detective. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Ой, блин, я что-то не то нажал.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia.
Только один правильный
Henderson
вопрос.
is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Да блин. Давай опять к этому доктору. Мы уже были у него, но придется еще раз съездить.
I guess the wedding's off. He only robbed her mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack. So how does the doctor fit in? That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting. I've had worse. You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor. Next time you can take the runner, boy. I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I? Should have never told you that.
Бля, ну когда же это уже расследование закончится? Это ужас какой-то. Почему так долго? Ни хрена не можем раскрыть.
Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better.
Фух, блин. Так, подожди. Где его кабинет? Ага.
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett. And tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
I told you never to come. Tell us the truth, Doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief.
You know that I loved her.
I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No, please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife, or my children, nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
Охренеть. Ну хоть правду сказал. Да. А ну позвоним сейчас по телефону.
Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman, 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way.
Так, квартира Уилли.
We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
Сейчас раскроем уже наконец-то это дело. Нужно уже покончить с ним и с этим Уилли. Это он сбежал, получается, ну, когда мы за ним гнались.
She was incredibly beautiful. Would you throw it all away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
You're talking from experience.
I certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy.
Это он, короче, мне палкой зарядил. Вот его квартира. Все, поехали. Задержим наконец-то его. А, она тут рядом. А я уже собрался. Хрен знает куда ехать. Отлично.
He's around here somewhere. A big guy. Neighbors say he always wears basketball shoes and a cream jacket. And get this. The kids around here say he plays the harmonica.
Find a game well and have the commander set up a dragnet. We want the area closed off. We'll take this out of the street.
A harmonica playing wrestler. That's a weird one. Think he knit as well?
Just keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. We don't want him to bolt on us.
Так. Ну и где он может быть?
He wouldn't be that way. Wait. Cole. You hear that? I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
Ага. Вот он. Преступник.
Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up.
Не хочет сдаваться. Значит, придется тебя убить. Так, а где он? А, вот он. Сука. Бля, я его чуть уже не завалил. Сука, все равно ускользнул, но ненадолго. Быстрее, быстрее, быстрее. Шляпа даже у него слетела. Если б не эта решетка, я бы его уже завалил. Где он? Блин, да куда он там поднимается? Такой быстрый, блин. Несмотря на то, что я его еще ранил.
Hold it. He's got to be around here somewhere. No place to go unless he grew wings. There he is. Wait, the son of a bitch.
Вот он, сука. А чё, он бессмертный? Все. Сдох.
Son of a bitch really picked a spot for it up here, didn't he? Julia Randall's folks are flying in from New York tomorrow to claim the body. I saw her on the slab. So perfect. Looked like she was made of porcelain. She really made an impression on me.
Julia had that impact on a lot of men.
Christ, it's cold. You guys did good work here today. Roy, I think you should buy your brother officers a drink.
Do you now? That's very generous of you, Lieutenant.
Все, дело раскрыто. Найдено улик 13 из 16, правильных вопросов только 6 из 16. Даже крошечное количество морфина, найденное на месте преступления, привело бы Розерса в восторг. А мы что, не нашли его, получается?
The whole company is gone, Hank. The Major is dead. We're being overrun. We have to get off of this hill.
That's one of our 50 cals still firing, Cole. The 22nd are still fighting.
It's over, Cole. Looks like you're one of the lucky ones.
Say goodbye to your friend Hank, Jack.
He was your friend too, Cole. Is this how you're going to leave him? Are you wounded?
Not a scratch, Kelso.
Well, get up and get out of that fucking hole. Find a stretcher while you're at it so we can get him out of here.
Who's the senior officer here?
I guess that's you, Cole.
You were up here all night?
Yes, sir.
And your command?
Gone, sir.
Sorry to hear that, son. God damn it, we have beaten these bastards back. It's the beginning of the end, and it was one here. You're a goddamn hero, son. What's your name?
Lieutenant Phelps, sir.
I'm recommending you for the Silver Star, and promoting you to First Lieutenant.
Фух, блин. Чё так долго? Божественное предопределение.
A shooting at the 111 Club, 6232 Hollywood Boulevard.
Sounds like a homicide beef.
2 of the dead guys caught in the crossfire were carrying Army surplus morphine. Get over there before homicide tramples all over the place.
We already cleared that up.
Judge in Pasadena took the big sleep yesterday. He had a personal stash of 20 cigarettes. Appears we didn't get all of it.
Опять новая улика морфина, смотрите. Клуб. Да сколько ж с этим уже морфином. Постоянно этот морфин.
A dead judge. It's not good.
Everyone has their vices. Even you, Phelps.
Так, ну ладно, давай уже на этом закончим серию. И так расследование получилось очень долгим, блин. Так что ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, нажимайте на колокольчик, выберите все уведомления, пишите комментарии. Все ссылки на донат на все будут в описании. На этом у меня все. Всем пока.